Welcome to Triple F, bringing life to your faith, family, and finance.
Hello, and welcome to our Triple F show. My name is Danny Katoa. I have the honor and privilege of sharing with you our show here today. Bear with us. We got some technical difficulties we're working out, but we are excited to launch this show on how to raise a kingdom family here today. And so, fortunately, I have my own family here to share with us all. But before we jump into that, let's go over our mission statement. Our mission statement at Triple F is to equip people in areas of faith, family, and finances. It is our desire to add value to people's lives by helping them reinforce their faith, build a stronger relationship with their families, and help people elevate their finances in the process. So we are excited to feature my family here today with you all. I had to beg them to be on the show, and so we're going to dive into it and be able to hear from them on this is my little family here, and we'll go to the next slide so we can introduce themselves in the process. We're definitely excited to have them on. I had to pry them to get on here on this show. So thank you guys for chiming in. If you're listening to this on replay, we welcome you as well. And we can go to the next slide. There we go. Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourself to the Triple F family?
Hello, everybody. My name is Katoa. I am Danny's wife, and I am the mother of these two awesome youngsters with us.
Hi, I'm Katoa, the youngest in the family.
Hi, everybody. My name's Higgy. I'm the oldest.
Awesome. Why don't you guys share your age? How old are you?
I am 15.
15.
I'm 17.
Awesome. 15 and 17. So for those of you who don't know, my wife and I have been married for 20 years. And so as you can see, 3 years into our marriage, we had Higgy, and then a couple of years after that, we had chemo as a family. And so we're going to dive into the questions here real quick. But I just kind of want to give you a background on our family. Is, you know, my as you can see, my wife is from a different ethnicity, and I am from a different ethnicity. And so whenever you have two cultures marrying, you know, it creates a diversity, right? And so you know, but one thing that is true for us here today is, you know, where my wife and I'll have her share, and where I came from was two different identities, and we had to learn and still learning, continuing to learning new kingdom ways on how to build our family upon. So the first question is to explain, what is it like when you didn't have your family in order? And so that kind of preempt what I just shared with you, how we came from two different sides of the family, two different sides of life, ethnicity-wise, to create one family. And so I'm going to pass it over here to my lovely wife to give her viewpoints on her experience through our marriage, first couple of years.
Okay, if I had to describe or answer that question in one word, I would say rough. it was hard in the beginning. I think, you go into a relationship, and in the beginning there's, a lot of love and the romance of it all, and it's very exciting, and it's very new, and you think that's going to do it for you. That's all you need, and that's all that matters. And as you get going in a marriage, and time marches on, and changes happen, like you start having kids, and things change. It can become very challenging when your family is not in order. It can be chaotic, and it can be at sometimes even loss of hope, and even the day-to-day can be tough. Just trying to communicate, as Danny mentioned, you've got these two different cultures merging, and you've got these two ways of dealing with, conflict or disagreement, and sometimes those don't mesh at all, and so it can be really challenging.
Yeah, that's pretty on point. As you were speaking, Mom, I started to reflect, thought about where we came from and how we started, and how rough it was. Even like I started to think about even like leaving, like smallest leaving the toilet seat or putting things back in order, right? It was just like, well, if you see it, just pick it up and put it back. And at the time, just didn't know how to honor your requests, and how to surrender my heart to instead of standing in the corner and being right in my side of point of view, but getting to the middle of the room and surrendering, so that we can be able to hear one another's heart through the process. And so obviously we stuck through it for 3 years, and until Higgy came along, and that just like really changed the game for us, right? Like we it elevated our game to a whole different level of capacity, because now it's no longer about you and I. It's about this blessings that we got with him. And I just remember the challenge that it came along. Like our problems didn't go away, in the process. It came, now it like double or triple, because now we had a child, and so we'll go here to the next question, and hang on, boys, we'll get you guys to share. Well, why do you think family is important, for us? I think that's a great segue to the second question. Why do you think it was so important to us in the beginning phase to build our family as a faith-based family?
Yeah, so I think, besides for faith, besides for God, really the family is the most important thing. If we think about even just in the last year and a half, what the way our world and our country and our island here has been dealing with things, it comes down to everything. Everything else gets whittled away, and really the most important thing, again, besides for faith, is your family. And you want to make sure that it's a healthy family, a strong family. There's good relationship, good communication, and it's the most important thing.
Yeah, most definitely. One of the things I learned through our trials and errors and process is, there's a saying that there's no manual in raising a family, and there's such a lie, because there is a manual, and it's the Bible. But most of us, we don't. I know. For me, I didn't take the time to invest to read it, study it. But it's funny how we all desire and want a perfect family. Well, not perfect, but a family that honors and live a repentance lifestyle, or a respectful lifestyle, or honoring lifestyle, right? And those are are some of the qualities that we've been able to acquire over the years, tools wise, to raise our boys on in that way. I mean, most of them are, yeah, I would say most of them are all biblical, faith-based principles that has governed our lives today as a family. So, great answer. Boys, do you guys have anything you want to share yet? Anything coming up for you? No? Okay, we got some questions for you coming up here next. We'll go on to the next slide. So describe some of the problems that we had when our family wasn't in order, right? And I could start with this one, Mom. Is I know like all I saw was my dad was a provider, right? Like I just thought that was my role, like just to provide. I didn't know. No one taught me how to be a father. You know, I thought that was fatherhood, was that you just provide. And I remember early age when Keynes was born in our pool house. You know, I just felt like, man, you know, this is life can't get any better than this. You know, having two boys, beautiful wife, and being able to provide for my family that was all I needed to do. And I left everything, like raising the boys, up to you. It was like, that's your job, you know. And it was so far from the truth, you know. But you know, those are the things that I think when I look around our society today, you know, most people, most men, I can say, may not understand their role as a father, you know. And so that was one of the challenging things, was just not knowing and not seeking someone. I think we like what Pastor Ellie has done for me, and what Pastor Cal has done for him, you know, just from a father's perspective, it changed our paradigms on how we looked at being a father. You know, it's more than just being a provider. You know, you're a protector, provider, but the fathering name is there's such a substance to it that most people think just producing a baby is being a father, and that's far from it. And so I want to hear your point of view from that question.
Well, you know, I have seen a tremendous change in you, because I agree that early on it was kind of like, well, I'm left to the parenting, and you really realize why God made it, so that there's, you know, a man and a wife, and there's these two very different people raising these kids, because it's they're both the wife and the husband bring such value to parenting, to child raising, you know, sadly, I think that's where a lot of families get lost, is that you know, maybe the fathers are absent, or are so busy working, or end up leaving, or whatever the situation is. You know, thankfully we have our Heavenly Father, but man, that earthly father is extremely important. And I'm so grateful that that you've grown in your fathering, and now just to see you really be a good role model for these young men, and to be loving towards them, and just so encouraging and so supportive, that I'm just very grateful.
Yeah, I'll definitely pay you later for those words, compliments. I appreciate it. Yeah, well, as you know, personally, it's been a lot of work. We've come a long way. You know, we still got a long way to go. We're far from perfect, but I tell you, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's been a work in progress, and sowing seed into the boys has been one of the most, I think, rewarding things in my life. Just watching them grow up to be the young man that they are today. I'm so at joy because we're in oneness in raising them up. Far from where we used to be, and glad that we have turned the Titanic in the right direction towards the kingdom. So we'll go here to the next question. All right, boys, get ready. This is coming up for you. What should we do to help solve some problems in today's family? I think I'll go back to the last question and have the boys share. Have you guys what have you experienced and see, in how mom and I raise you guys, as parents, what do you may see that is different from what you experience out there from friends, families, other people? Openly, honestly share what's on your heart. Go.
I know for me, one of the most, or probably the most important thing that you guys taught us was put God first. I just like seeing your guys parenting from when I was little and then till now. When you guys put God first, I see how things shift in a positive direction, and I see that in my life too. When I put God first, things start to fall into place, and then just keeping my faith strong.
Awesome, Bubba. How about you, Mo?
Seeing my friends, families, in our family, there's a lot of differences because of our faith and everything. And, I try and guide them as much as possible because that's what you guys taught me, but not to force anything on them. But there really is a big difference, and it's a good difference because you guys have taught us from the beginning to always put God first. And it's really put us in the right direction as a family.
Awesome. Great show, guys. And so, Sherry, can you go back to the question, please? So, what should we do to help solve problems with today's family? In today, it's be an example. Also, to not blast people. I think it's so easy in our society today, especially with social media. You can say whatever you want to say, get away with it, and things of that nature. And I think, most people don't know when it's real life and when it's social media, right? Like you don't know when to tone it down or cut it off and or turn it off. And so, I think speaking peace and blessings, and that's one way that we can solve problems is based on our actions, on how we may speak life into people, or because it's easy to see the trash in people, right? Like it's so easy versus seeing the treasure in people. And I think when you fixate your heart to operate in that way, that this is your DNA, it gives you that perspective to be able to speak life into things. When you see the things that are being done wrong, you can speak into it and speak with love and aloha. And it's amazing. Like before, how I would blast people. I would like, even give them a piece of my mind, or I'll cuss them out and things of that nature, thinking that would help them, or that will cause them to not do that anymore, or things of that nature. But today, it's a whole different perspective of how we can show others based on what we're doing, based on how we're living as an exampleship for others. I think that's one of the ways that we can do it. Some of the practical things we do as a family is having meals together, making sure that we're not too busy to sit down and hear what's going on through their lives and our kids' life, and hearing, what the wins are, what the challenges are, and vice versa. Still continue between my wife and I to date one another through the process, and not just get complacent through it at all, and just check in and check out. But I know that that's some of the things we try to do to not have that problem in our family. Is connection. I think connection is currency, especially in this timing today, and it's not just just being a provider is not enough in today's era. So that's my 2 cents. Mom, you're muted, Mom.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with all those things. And I think, loving people where they are at, being, not trying not to be judgmental, but really just hearing them and listening to people and listening to where they're at. It's easier said than done, but I think that's a really good spot. To be a good role model, to really walk your faith, right? To not, people don't respond well to a person, blasting them with information or the Bible. But if you can, love them and bless them and be kind and loving and supportive to them, and they see what kind of person you are naturally and organically, then they're likely to ask, hey, what about this thing called faith, or who is Jesus, or how do you have kids that are respectful and honoring to grown-ups or to strangers or to other people, and that's where the conversation can begin. So I think just that stems from, within our family, that stems from that time together. And many times we have to not force it, but we have to plan it. I mean, our lives are so busy with going a million different directions to actually say, okay, it's happening, Sunday at 5:00 is when we're having our family prayer time and our family meal, because life can get very busy.
No, that's good. That's good. What did you guys want to share? Anything to add on to that?
Going off of what my dad said about being an example, one of the things he says to us a lot is darkness is not our problem, it's just a lack of light. So I think just being a light, being an example of what Jesus looks like to our friends, because it really only takes one situation or one encounter with someone to change their life. So I think just being a light to other people can make a lot of difference.
Awesome, Bubba. How about you, Mo?
I agree with everything. I really want to branch off of what Higgy said and say that being a light to others is really important. And I'm happy that you guys instilled that in us at a young age.
Awesome. I think Sherry has some questions from some of the folks. How long did it take to come into harmony from a different ethnicity? We still are in harmony. We still in the work in progress, Sherry, of 20 years later. So you just it becomes it doesn't become numbed, but you learn to love sacrificially. That's a great term. And I learned to love my wife unconditionally in so many ways. And in so many ways, my flesh gets the hold of me and it becomes conditional in the process. And my wife reminds me, hey, you remember unconditional for better or for worse, in that way. So, Mom, do you want to add anything to that question? The other question is, how was it raising 2 boys? Can you give us some tips on how to discipline children, especially if they became rebellious and go on their own way? Mom? Unmute. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I think, trying to, shepherd their hearts versus the hard, this is wrong, and, uh, uh, discipline's an interesting word, because, discipline really comes from really doing the thing, right? The kids, it's their discipline really that you're trying to foster and nurture and shepherd. And so disciplining them, like, honestly, there were times early on where there was spanking that went on, and there was a lot of yelling and whatnot. And so I think that was the mirror that we needed to say, like, that is not the right way to do it. And so I think, as I said earlier, shepherding them, like trying to get to the heart of the problem, getting to, if something nasty is coming out of the mouth, there's something troubling going on in the heart. And so getting to really find out what that root is, and talk through it, rather than just, stop doing that because I said so, or something like that. And it takes time, and it's hard sometimes, but I think that's a big one for us. That was a big transition for us coming kind of through that. And then, yeah, I think that's it on that question.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I'm the same way. I think everything starts at home. The reflection of what the kids put out is what we plant at home. And so if you get a bad product out in the community, that means that is something bad happening at home. Just like the illustration that you shared, Mom, about what comes out of the mouth is ultimately out of the heart. And if something's troubling the heart, then yes, you best bet something is bad is going to come out. But when my wife talked about spanking, I was the one doing the spanking. She wouldn't spank the boys. I mean, she would be crying if she spanked the boys. I never saw a mom who would cry while spanking her own boys. And but I think I don't know. He might have been 12 or 11. Where I saw the fear in his eyes, and same with Mo. And I was just like, man, I got to break this stronghold. Because, it's so funny. Like, this was the best thing that ever happened to me, was having two boys. And this is like a prayer answer, because I prayed. I told my wife, I said, just give me two boys. I'm good. And then when I got the two boys, we wanted a girl after that. And anyways, we feel so blessed. And, when you don't work on yourself or don't seek guidance, you're going to carry the same mirror that you saw your parents raise you with and impose it on your children. And that's what I was doing. I was imposing my will of how I was raised over Mo and Higgs. And, and I just remember the last time I think I laid hand on Higgy, and the Holy Spirit had this conviction in me. It's like, man, this is the person you said you love, and you are punishing. There's a difference between discipline and punishment, and I think when we go into punishment, the kids don't learn anything other than pain, right? But if you discipline, taking the time to discipline and walk them through talking. Most times the kids don't want to talk. They just want to, whatever, let's get it over with. But it's so important that we take the time to discipline their disappointment and walk them through so that they can understand not to do that again, or how to honor the requests and the seeds that we're planting in them. And so that's what we started to do. We started, we put the salsa stick down, and we started speaking life into the boys. And, it was challenging. It was a lot of rebellions, it's children, right? But I think they got our heart. You know, we continue to keep sharing from a soft heart, and we were able to all come into the middle of the room. And I think that's the having Shabbat, you know, having dinner together, a meal together, and talking and Shabbating and giving glory to the one that needs to be praised. It's important that we plant those seeds at a young age. You know, I always think about what my parents have planted in me, and you know, being able to take the bad, throw it away, take the good, and give it to my children. And my marriage is, I think it's so important, especially in today's age. For the boys, this is a question for the boys. What can you say being raised in a Christian family? What can you say? How's it? I guess the question is, what can you say about being raised in a Christian family? What can you say about that?
I can go first. It's a lot easier, like dealing with family problems, and there's a lot more communication, and you just feel safe and comfortable with your parents, and there's not a lot of bad blood. And when there's an argument, there's always resolution, and there's a lot more holiness, you could say, and it's just a lot more forgiving than an ungodlike house would be.
Awesome, Mom. How about you, Higgs?
Yeah, going off that, I think the biggest thing that I've seen over the years is just our connection as a family. I think connection is huge for us. Like I remember when I was younger, I had a problem with going to my parents about stuff. If I messed up, now that's not a problem. I know that they'll have my back regardless of the situation or the circumstances. So, yeah, I think connection is just the biggest thing.
Awesome. Good stuff, boys. All right, we'll go here to the next question. We're almost coming to an end, guys. What are some of the actions you are taking to help strengthen your family bond with one another? I guess we answer a lot of that through the last question. So maybe we can go to the next question. I think that'll be the last question, right? Sherry? Okay, so why don't you guys any feedbacks that you guys want to share, or any last words? Because I think we covered that last question already. What would you share from kids' point of view, from a teenager point of view, to another teenager that may be listening with their parents? You know, what would you share with them about you know, your experience as being raised in a kingdom family? What would be the best benefit, or why someone would want to take that on and learn about their faith or grow in their faith?
I think communication in a godlike family, it's, or I won't say ours is like, anyways, it's a lot easier to talk to your parents about a problem that you have. You know, holding it in and lying and dealing it with yourself doesn't work always, and you know, it's a lot of pressure. But like my brother said, coming to our parents about it and talking, it's just so much easier, and you know they got your back. So communication.
Yeah. What I hear, Mo, you saying is trust, right? And that is so pivotal in any relationship, you know, especially in a Christian family. We got to learn to trust our faith, and we got to learn to trust God in the season that He may have us in. So awesome share, Mo. How about you, Higgs?
I mean, being a teenager is difficult. I mean, being an adult is difficult too, but in high school, you're kind of going through it, finding yourself. So there's a lot of added pressure, and going through that alone is really difficult. You know, I felt that at times firsthand. So I think, yeah, just like going back to that connection thing, like it's super important to be grounded. You know, I've seen the results. I've just seen the results of me being grounded in my faith. You know, building a solid foundation at home. Yeah, just going out into the real world, knowing that I'm solid on both ends.
Awesome. Yeah, and you know, it's so funny that I think when, you know, as a family of faith, you know, if you're listening to this, you may think like, well, you're bulletproof. You're you're not going to encounter any challenges. I think you just heard from my kids saying, you know, it doesn't change. But the challenges become lighter. The burden become lighter when you're walking in faith versus you know, not off faith, right? All right, we'll keep on moving here, Sherry. We're coming to an end. All right. Well, hey, guys, thank you so much for being on, family. I'm going to give you guys a chance to say another last word after this. But look, subscribe. We got 21 actionable steps if you want to strengthen your faith, your family, and your finances. We have interviewed people who are experts in this area. Right? Other than my family, we still are in process. But everybody else we have interviewed, they're experts in this areas of faith and family and finance. But if you can get 1% better every day, like just one nugget could help change the game for you. Subscribe to we got it as a gift. Thank you, Sherry and Virgil, for putting this together. It is free. Make sure you subscribe to our Facebook page so that you can get the download. Also, you can subscribe to DannyKatoa.com and join us in our Triple F Facebook social media platform on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you guys so much. Family, any last word before we close out?
I'll just say one more thing. I just feel like you know, just an encouragement, you know, not to give up, and that, you know, we have a family friend that used to say all the time, you know, every day you get to go again, right? So even if you miss it and you miss it and you miss it again, that's why we need Jesus, is because we get to go again and again and again. And so my encouragement is just don't give up.
Amen. That's a good word, Mom. All right, family. Hey, this has been a good show. Thank you guys for the time. And I hope that our family gets to share with you our as a message to empower you to turn the corner, just like what we're doing. We're by far experts. We are still a work in progress. Every day it's an opportunity, as my wife alluded to get better, to get 1% better. And it's 365 days in the year. And so at the end of the year, you'll be 365% better as an individual than you were the year before. And so God bless you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel as well. We look forward to catching the next show on finances with Mr. Eddie Bale coming up next Thursday. Take care. God bless and aloha.